Hi GHMC Zoomers, we're back again with our next Zoom tutorial. If you have not watched the tutorial about setting up your Zoom account and troubleshooting your audio video, I strongly recommend you do that. If you have been into Zoom, you're all set up and ready to go, but you want to learn how to use Zoom, how to interact, some of the proper etiquette, then you are in the right place. So first off, I want to say our landing page is ghmcfamily.org. That's where you can find all of the information and tools that you're going to need for online ministry. It has access to our, not just our Zoom links, but our YouTube site, our YouTube channel, and any content or news that you need to know about GHMC and what we're doing. You can access the Zoom meetings that are scheduled through the website. Is in the top section. It'll tell you the date and time of the meeting. If you just simply click on that, it should automatically take you into that Zoom meeting. And again, if you haven't went through the setup tutorial and you haven't created your account, strongly recommend you stop this video, go look for this one that says create your own account setup and configuration, start there, and then come back here. All right, for those of you ready to go on, let's just jump right in. So what are the benefits of Zoom? Well, Zoom is great because it's interactive. Instead of just being a one-way feed where you're watching, it actually has everybody's faces. And during the times that are approved, everybody can speak to each other. So it's kind of like a way to fellowship, if you will, virtually, so that you can see people, you can hear their voice, which is something that we just don't really get with some of the other social media platforms. The video is optional. You can join audio only if you like, so no pressure there. As you know, we're a come as you are church, and right now that includes being in your pajamas. Perfectly acceptable. People can talk and provide input, so it's great to have those abilities that we can hear from our brothers and sisters. We can have even people out with questions. We really look forward to that. It does not require an account. I cover that in the first tutorial. You can join as a guest. You do not have to create an account. There are benefits to create an account, and the other tutorial explains those. You can create an account for free, and the benefit of that is you can actually host your own meetings. So we have the official meetings set up through the church for different things, but you with a free account can have your own meeting with whoever you want. You can have your own group conference or group talk or group study. Sky's the limit. So first off, let's talk about accessing Zoom. So if you are looking for one of the church established meetings, go to the ghmcfamily.org website. And you're going to see under the online ministry, there will be a block for the specific event or meeting. And if you click on that, it's going to take you to that Zoom link. So why Zoom? Well, here's a screenshot of one of our GHMC meetings. There are benefits, and if you're using a mobile device, it's going to look a little bit different. We'll talk about that later. But this is from a computer, and so what you see is the person who's talking gets the big square, and then everybody else has little blocks above. So if they have their camera turned on, you get to see their smiling face. If they don't, it'll just be a black square with their name. And if you click on this little arrow here, you can scroll across and see everybody else because it only fits so many. There's another function if you want to go Brady Bunch style. This little icon here, if you can see where my mouse is, that if you click on it will toggle into more of a Brady Bunch style. So instead of having one big window of who's speaking, you see everybody at the equal size. So that's a nice feature too. You can also chat. So if you click on the chat icon down here, it'll open up the chat bar. And you can chat with everyone, so see how it says to everyone? You can click there and type a message, and everybody will see it, or you can select from that drop down one of the participants and send it only to them. So there's quite a few features in that. So first off, I want to talk about meeting etiquette. Please keep yourself muted to cut down background noise. When you get 30 people on a call and we can hear all of the air noise in their house and the animals and the kids, very difficult to understand what's being said. So general rule of thumb, general etiquette with any kind of online meeting or conference is if you're not trying to speak, please keep yourself muted. Likewise, when you're ready to say something, please remember to unmute yourself because we won't hear you if you don't. Next to the mute button is the video control. So Typically, if you're joining one of our GHMC hosted, we have this defaulted to off so that nobody gets surprised when they join. Once you're comfortable, then you can click this start video button and your camera will turn on. We'll be able to see your smiling face. And then if at any point you need to get up or you want to turn your camera off for some reason, you just click that again to turn your camera off. I will say this, if you find that your computer, your bandwidth is constrained and you're starting to get patchy audio and patchy video, it could be that the video streaming is too much for either your computer system or your internet bandwidth. So if you're starting to struggle, turn your video off and see if that helps. Hopefully we get to see your face. So the chat function, I went through that a little bit. It's great. So there's going to be times during, for instance, sermons where it's quiet time. We don't want 30 people talking while Pastor Tony's delivering the message. So in those times, the admin will mute everybody. But we don't want you to go voiceless. And the chat area is a great way to stay interactive during those times. Since we're not in person to raise our hands, you can put your amens and your praise Jesus in here. When Tony repeats something and says, everybody say I'm not afraid, you can type it in. We definitely want you to be interactive. And the chat area is a great way to do that. Now, if you're joining with a mobile app, so that's one of the other benefits of Zoom, is you don't have to be at a computer. You can use your smartphone, you can use your tablet. Super easy. I will say that on mobile devices, you may have limited options. It won't look the same as what we just went through. And you might not have all of the features and functions, but you definitely have what you need to get the message. So this is a screenshot from my mobile device, which is iOS. Android may look a little bit different, but the general controls should be the same. So again, bottom left corner, your mute button, your camera button. So you can turn your audio and your video on and off. You can click on participants if you want to see who all's on the call. And then if you click this more button, you actually get a pop-up menu. And then you can click the emojis if you want to do a hand clap or a thumbs up. If you click on the chat here, it's going to open that chat window so you can see what the messages are going back and forth. There's some other functions you can do here. If we're ever during quiet time, or for instance, if everybody's talking and it's hard to get a word in, but you've got something you want to say, you can click this raise hand and the host will get a notification that you would like to say something. So that's another way that we can get, big group of people and still have some form of flow on conversation. You can see your friends. So similar to the desktop version, whoever's talking is going to default large. And if you have more people, you should see more than one person up here in the top. Now, some wireless devices, you may be able to swipe your finger over these people to scroll and see who all's on. So in mobile view, you're not going to see everybody all at once, but you should be able to, in some devices anyway, scroll and see additional participants. So that's the basics of Zoom. At this point, you're set up. You're familiar with how to mute yourself and unmute yourself, which is the most important piece here. You know how to turn on your video controls, and you're ready to participate in a meeting. Now, if you want to get a little bit funky, you can play with virtual backgrounds, which is another benefit to having a free account, is that if you don't like the background behind you, either, I don't know, maybe you're like me and you've got clutter behind you and you really don't want that on camera, or maybe you just want to have fun because you've got time to spend. This next function is just for fun, so this is not a requirement. You can end the video here if you're completely not interested, but what we're going to talk about next is virtual backgrounds. Virtual backgrounds. So you can take the gospel to new places. Right here, see, I'm in space. Just kidding, you can actually see above my green screen, I am in my living room. But you have the ability to set a virtual background, which is kind of fun. Now, what you need to do this, you need a solid color backdrop behind you. So you can accomplish this with just a wall. If your wall is painted a solid color, you are good to go. It doesn't matter what color, provided it's not too close to your skin tone, or your shirt for that matter. But a solid color is all you need. It does not have to be green. I'm using a green sheet here. You do not have to. If you don't have a solid painted wall, so For mine, it's not really solid. I've got part of a fireplace behind me, and I've got a desk over here in the corner. So what I've done is strung up a piece of green fabric, and you can use a solid colored sheet. Again, doesn't matter what color it is, and hang that up behind you for your backdrop. Now notice the way I've got mine kind of haphazard here. The wrinkles here will cause a problem because lighting matters. So essentially what Zoom is doing is it's picking a color value that it wants to replace with an image. And if you just look at the wrinkles, we go from light green to dark green to there's spots that could almost be considered a brown. So that confuses it, and what happens is the background image might get a little glitchy. It's okay, but if you really want to go for gold, you can really try to get a straight, clean, no wrinkled background, solid color, play with lighting. Sometimes lighting, less is more. So for me, if I turn my overhead light on, you won't be able to see my face. It'll replace that with the image. So for me, turning off lights is actually good. And I do have a little desk lamp above me that's shooting over my head onto the background. So if you have time and you're really interested, you can play around and get it to look pretty cool. If not, maybe it's not for you, or maybe you're satisfied with the little glitchiness. Totally up to you. So let's look at how to set a virtual background. You can get there through the icon at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Right next to your video camera, there is an arrow. And if you click on that, you can click on select virtual background straight from that screen. I think I jumped the gun on you a little bit here. I did. So right here, choose a virtual background. If you notice, we're back in that settings screen, same place we were when we adjusted our audio and our video. So you can get there from that as well. So what we're going to do is, first off, you'll see this pop up and you'll see yourself and the background as it is behind you. You're going to need to add an image. So you're going to click on this add image button, and it's going to take you to your computer. Now you would need to find a picture that you want to use. So if you don't have one already, you can jump over to Google and Google for a background image you want, or you can go to the GHMC family webpage. I'm going to upload some background images of our sanctuary. So if you want to select one that looks like you're at church, I'll have those made available so that you can download them. I've got one here called Sanctuary. And so I'm going to select that, and then bam, as soon as you add that image, it's going to change that as your default background. So you can kind of see what that looks like. Now it looks like I'm there. And you can toggle between images. So I have quite a few uploaded. You can upload as many as you want, and then you can just simply click on them to change. It's very easy. Now, sometimes things go wrong. So if your background isn't working or you disappear, it could be that the camera is picking up the wrong color to replace. So in this case, it's keeping the green and it's replacing my skin tone. It's not what we want to do. So if you're having problems, if it doesn't look right, then what you can do is you can tell it which color to replace. So first off, adjust your lighting, see if that fixes your problem. If that doesn't fix your problem, then come down here to this square and click on it. And when you click on it, it's going to give you this, it'll be smaller, but a target. So your mouse will turn into a target. And so what you want to do is move that over the color that you want it to replace. So in my case, I would have done it over here in this general green area. And when you click on it, then it's going to immediately, it'll put the green down here, and then you'll see your background come back up. And so if that's better, then you're good to go. If it's still not good, you can repeat these steps until you kind of get the color that you want. Now, I also want to mention if you want to turn off your virtual background, so it might be something that was really fun to play with, but you get over it and you want to just have your regular background. There's a box at the very front that says none. So just like you could click on these pictures to change them, if you click on this none, it's going to turn off your virtual background, and everybody will see what's behind you. So once you're satisfied with your selection, you can click the X to close the window. And you're done. Now you can be anywhere you want to be. Thank you for joining this tutorial. I hope you all have a very blessed day.